How do I get an F1 visa? What do I need for an F1 visa? Will my university help me? Can I work on an F1 visa? Can I transition from an F1 visa to a work visa after my studies? How long will the F1 visa last and can I extend it? If you are someone who wants to study in the US, then I'm sure you have all these questions in your mind, but it's okay, yaar, I've got you. We have a lot to cover, so let's jump right into the questions and more. Today's video will teach you everything you need to know about an F1 visa in the US, right from its application process, eligibility, benefits, costs, and all around understanding of the visa. Hi everyone, I'm Priya from It's Okay Yaar and welcome back to our channel. And if you're new today, It's Okay Yaar is a content platform for South Asian immigrants and we aim to educate, entertain and empower them. So what is the F1 visa? The F1 visa is a non-immigrant student visa that allows individuals to enter the US as full-time students. You must be enrolled in a program that eventually offers a degree, diploma or a certificate. Also, the university must be authorized by the US government to accept international students. What does this mean? It means that you will need the F1 visa if you are studying full-time in the US at a recognized university. This means that your stay is tied to the enrollment in the university and you will have specific rules to follow regarding attendance and grades. Next, let me share the requirements of an F1 visa. The college you're applying to can get only help from foreign students get an F1 visa if it's accredited. In the case of students, there are more requirements to obtain an F1 visa. The applicant should be accepted by and enrolled in the school approved by the Student Exchange and Visitor Program (SEVP). The applicant must have a valid educational purpose for moving to the US. The applicant must show sufficient proof of funds to support their education in the US. The applicant must prove ties to their home country. This convinces the visa issuing authority that you will return home after your studies. Remember, this is important since an F1 visa is a temporary visa. Let's now look at the duration of an F1 visa. F1 visa durations are typically issued for 5 years. However, the duration can vary based on your academic program. You can expect an additional period for preparation to leave the US or while transitioning to another legal status. Note that the F1 visa is issued for the duration of the educational program as mentioned on the form I-20. This form is provided by the educational institution. Also, F1 visa holders are granted a grace period of 60 days after their course. Students can also apply for a program extension if they cannot finish their academic program before the original end date mentioned in their I-20 form. Don't forget to get approval for this before your present I-20 expires. Students can receive up to 12 months of OPT employment after their academic studies. Students in STEM are eligible to apply for an added 24 months of OPT extension. This gives them around 36 months of OPT time. Secondly, CPT lets students work in an internship during their educational program. We have created a video on how and when to apply for your OPT work permit. We'll leave that link in the description, so definitely check it out. Now let's learn how to apply for an F1 visa. These 5 steps have helped countless of my friends get an F1 visa. Start your application after being accepted by an institution certified by SEVP or the Student and Exchange Visitor Program. Once you're accepted, the institution will enroll you in a SEVIS, Student and Exchange Visitor Information System, and issue you a form I-20 after you pay the fee. Note that the SEVIS is what tracks and monitors non-immigrant students during their stay in the US. And Form I-20 details your educational program and supporting data on your accommodation. The second step involves paying the SEVIS I-901 fee, which is around $350 for most nationalities. Next, it's time to complete your DS-160 and schedule an interview with the visa officer. Be 100% accurate when filing this form since it's incredibly important to the interviewer's verification and investigation process. It's very self-explanatory, so follow along the instructions. Now it's time to prepare for your F1 visa interview. We'll be adding the required documents in the next section, and yes, you'll also pay $160 for the application fee. F1 visa costs. The basic costs associated with the F1 visa include $350 for the SEVIS I-901 fee, $160 for the DS-160 form, visa issuance fee based on the relationship between the US and your home country, work permission and F1 visa. F1 students can work in the US, although only under the following conditions. On-campus employment is permitted without additional authorization. Off-campus employment is allowed for specific hardship conditions or throughout OPT and CPT programs. Now let's discuss the F1 visa benefits. Opportunity for practical training. F1 students can apply for up to 12 months of OPT. This lets you work in your field of study either during or after the educational program. F1 students can also engage in CPT, allowing them to work in an internship or an employment opportunity. This helps gain academic credit and secure jobs jobs after your course, although through a new visa. Now let's discuss the flexibility in study and work. F1 students can work on campus for around 20 hours weekly. If you're able to find an on-campus job, then it can help you offset your living expenses and acquire a source of income. Let us know if you want us to create a video on how to find an on-campus job. If your case shows financial difficulties or if you qualify for special student relief situations, you might be authorized to work off-campus too. Cultural exchange and networking. US universities are a melting pot of cultures and students from around the globe. You can expand your social and professional circles and even build valuable connections for future employment. Further immigration opportunities. F1 students can apply for a change of status visa to other visa types. The H1B visa is a common transition that people make to work in specialty occupation. What's best is that this is your best path to long-term employment and eventual permanent residency. Spouse and family benefits. F1 visa holders are allowed to bring their spouses or unmarried children under 21 through an F2 visa. Even better, they can study part-time at an SEVP credited school. However, they are not allowed to work on an F2 visa. Now let's discuss some of the limitations of an F1 visa. Knowing the F1 visa limitations is as important as knowing the F1 visa benefits. Employment restrictions. There is a high level of dependency on your institution for off-campus work. F1 visa holders usually need authorization from their school's international student office or the USCIS. Financial dependency. Your F1 visa application process requires you to show proof of financial self-sufficiency. Considering the high tuition and living costs in the US, these financial barriers are common for applicants without scholarships, family supports, or enough personal savings. Limited stay duration. The F1 visa is tied directly to the educational program's duration. Thus, there are chances you only get a 2, 3, or 4-year visa. Difficult to qualify for the H1B lottery. If you want to continue staying and working in the US after your OPT, your company needs to sponsor your H1B visa. And to get an H1B visa, you will have to go through a random lottery conducted each year. There are only 85,000 slots each year and more than 400,000 people apply for the lottery. We have created multiple videos on H1B visa, including how to ask for sponsorship, and we will link all of that in the description box, so definitely check it out. If you have watched it so far, please hit that like and subscribe button. Now let's discuss how an F1 visa holder can transition to a green card. The first option, as we discussed already, is to transition to an H1B visa. This dual intent visa allows F1 holders to apply for a green card. After obtaining an H1B, the employer can sponsor the visa holder for a green card through employment-based categories like EB1, EB2, or EB3. In some cases, based on your field, you can also be eligible for EB2 NIW, for which you don't need your employer to file for your green card. We have explained all these categories in detail, and I will link the video in the description box. Another option that not many F1 visa holders are aware of is that the employers can file for their employment-based green cards even when they are on F1 visa. The wait times for Indian students to get a green card will probably still be the same, but the idea of this video is to make you aware of all the options that you have as a student. I want to cover a very important topic, which is safety in the US as an international student. I'm sure you've heard about this in the news related to attacks on Indian students in the US. These attacks on Indian students in the US are concerning for everyone, the students, their parents, the Indian consulate, as well as the President's office. With over 200,000 Indian students choosing the US for higher education, it remains a popular destination. However, recent incidents of attacks and deaths of Indian students have understandably raised concerns about safety. Therefore, we'd like to share some essential and general safety tips to help Indian students in the US. While they may seem very basic, it's important to familiarize yourself, especially if you're planning to move soon and will be new in the country. Here they are. Know your surroundings. Avoid shady, illit places in the city. Be aware of the safe areas. Move around in groups or at least with a few friends. Use university services. Know what service the university offers. Make full use of them. Inquire about these from your international student office at your university. Keep your personal information and documents such as passport, etc. safe. Don't share your name and address details with strangers. Don't be too adventurous and explore around areas that don't need exploration. Don't attract unwanted attention by flashing your expensive devices such as phones, tablets, etc. Be careful when you're being generous. When approached by individuals seeking help, offer change directly from your pocket if comfortable, or do not try to engage at all. Avoid displaying your wallet or purse in public. Be careful with cash. In case you withdraw money from the ATM, do not count cash on the streets. Try to use the campus ATM whenever you can. Respect the local culture, practices, and law. Dial 911 immediately and use the city's 311 info line in case of an emergency. Report to the Administrative Division and International Students Office of the university immediately. Please note that the Indian consulate's emergency number is +1 917 815 7066. In case of any difficulty, please reach out to the right point of contact at the embassy. I hope this helps you. Stay alert and stay safe if you're moving to the US. That's about it for this video, guys. The video has everything you need to know about an F1 visa in the US. I hope you found this valuable. If you do, please hit that like and subscribe button. We spend hours trying to simplify immigration content for you all. No AI, no auto-generated skips, just human research all for you. Is there any topic you'd like us to cover next? If so, leave that in comments. If not, it's okay, yaar. And if things aren't going your way, remember they will eventually turn around because it's okay, yaar.